All right, let's deal with some responsive issues here. Okay, look, when I shrink this down, everything seems to be responsive, except look at this. Look what happens in our nav bar. It begins to wrap, and that kind of sucks. So we don't want this to wrap like this. So what we're going to do is we are going to change the size of these buttons. That's right, we're going to change the size of the buttons. Now look, if you look at the Dreamweaver and it's in the CSS, so you know where it is, near the top, you have what's called these media screens. Okay, so it's saying if it's below 7,000 pixels wide, do this. Now how do you know? How do you know? Look, when you refresh, you can see the width of your screen. I wrote this JavaScript so that you can see that this is 1177. If I make it full screen and I hit refresh, I can see that now this screen is 1280. Aha! So at 1280, everything looks great. There's enough buttons, enough space for the there's enough space for the buttons to go across. But that's not the case when we make it smaller. Okay, so this is okay. And this is a little bit, it's getting a little bit tight. So I'm looking at the end of the contact. It's about this, above this particular part of the tomato. Okay, at 1280. So I'm going to refresh. I'm going to look to see how wide we're talking here. So it is still 1280 because it's between 1024 and 1280. So if this is, let's shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so now let's look. So now this is below 1024. So that would be what, 960? Let's see how our buttons look at 960. All right, they're going too far across. So I'm going to go to my media screen, and I'm going to look for 960. Okay, here's 1024. Oh, and then it jumps to 768. So this is where we want to make our buttons a little bit smaller. No, we're not here though. Let's go to where our buttons are. Here they are. Look. So at here it is at 1280 because it's between 7,000 pixels and there's no screen like that. Look, button bar 1280. And then our next size is 1024. And that seemed to be okay. But it was at 768 that it started to look a little bit crowded there, you know. So here it is between 768 and 1024. So it jumped down to 768. This is basically your screen at the 768. So here it is. Button bar between 768 and 1023. So look, I can change the size of my font. I can change it down to 10 pixels, and I can change the sideways padding to, I don't know, let's say 10. So my padding is going to go down to 10. And I can also change the top and bottom. So I'm going to change this to 8. I'm just guessing here. You know, most of this is guessing. So I'm going to have 8 pixels padding at the top and 10 pixels sideways. And I reduce the size of my font. So watch what happens here. I'm going to refresh. Yep, see? I'm going to refresh. It looks like it's trying to load something. Let's see. It's like, I'm just going to go like this. Okay. It's like it's struggling. Okay, here we go. Hit refresh. And see how the buttons shrunk a little bit? No, they didn't. There we go. See how the buttons kind of got together? And even though the screen is wider, ooh, all right, so that looks pretty terrible. Let's refresh it. and see what is the width. Okay, so it's between 480 and 768. So let's go here. Okay, here's between 480, so we got to do the same thing. We'll make the font, I don't know, let's make it 8. Let's reduce this to 10, the sideways padding. And we can reduce this, I guess we could put 6 and 6. Let's see how that works. Okay, so when the screen is between 480 and 768, that's the CSS. Let's see. Let's go back up here. And when we hit refresh, there. So we can change the font size and the padding according to our media screen or the size of our viewport. Okay, so we can make sure that at all sizes. Oh, what's that? That looks like 380. That looks like our phone. So let's see. Is this our phone? If it's below 480, it is. So this is our first phone. Look at how everything stacked up. Look, what used to be our right bar is now underneath. And everything that was just a certain percentage of the screen is now 100%. That's because after it gets under, well, I'll show you. Look what it says right here. Right here. Look, if it's below 480, all of our classes are now 100% across and all the float is gone. That's why under 480 it collapses to every div being 100% across. Right there. You see, isn't that cool? That's what makes it mobile friendly. Alright, so now we see that at 380 or on below 480 it's on the phone, and this becomes stupid right here, and this would be even stupider on the phone. So should we reduce the size of the text? Nah, let's not reduce the size of the text. Let's do this. Observe, this is really cool. We know that this div is called nav. That's the name of the nav, or the div that has our button bar. So if we go up here and we say if it's below 479, let's do this. Make sure you don't hack out this last curly Q here. See, there's this brown curly Q and this brown curly Q. It's saying that if the screen is below 479, or if it's 479 or below, do this. Notice that each of these rules has their own curly brackets. This curly bracket goes with this curly bracket. If you remove this, your site's going to poop out. Okay, so I'm going to do nav and at. If it goes below 479 or 480, if it's 479 or below, we're going to do display none. That means that if once it gets below 479, that nav is going to not be there. Let's see if I'm right. So there. If it's below 479, that button bar is going to disappear. So how are they going to navigate? Well, they're going to navigate using the menu. That's what they're going to use when it's on a phone. If it's on an iPad, they still can use the buttons up here. But when it becomes a phone, it disappears. So that's how you can stylize the button bar and make it so that it also is responsive. I know. So watch this. Oh no, we can't do that because it's not online. Alright, so there it is. That's how you can customize your CSS. You can also go down, like let's see this Desiderata. Okay, we're gonna see that. Let's update this. We'll see that we're talking below 1280 but above 1024. Watch, I'm gonna go up here and right here below 1024. Okay, so when it gets down to 1024, I'm gonna set the rule for H1 and I'm gonna make it color red. So if it's between 1024 and 1279, the H1 is going to be red. There it is. And as soon as it gets above, when it gets to be 1280, then it's going to be black again. Okay. So that's how you can stylize. I can go down. So here it is. And what is this? This is it's below 1024. So we're talking 768. I can go here 768. And when we get to 768, we can make the H1, I don't know, green. So between 768 and 1023, that is, anytime it's below 1023, it's going to be green. Let's see if that's true. So there it's green, then it's red, and then it's black. So you can stylize everything according to the width of your browser. Okay. So that's CSS for your nav bar and for any other text that you want to do.